The real estate playbook from last year is now costing sellers thousands in 2025. What worked last year is actively sabotaging your home sale in today's market. If your home has been sitting on the market while others are selling, it's likely because you're following outdated advice. Today, I'm breaking down the 3 biggest mistakes that smart, well-meaning sellers keep making. Mistakes that are keeping you from getting top dollar in this new market reality. Quick pause before we dive in. I just reached 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. And I'm on a mission to hit 2,000. If you're getting value from this, please hit the subscribe button. It helps me more than you know and keeps me motivated to keep these videos coming. Thanks. Thank you. Remember that wild market from a couple of years back? In 2021, I had clients putting offers on homes sight unseen. We'd get listings with 20 offers within 48 hours, bidding wars driving prices $50,000 over asking, and buyers waiving every inspection just to get their foot in the door. One of my listings had a line of cars stretching down the block during the first showing. It was absolute madness. Fast forward to today, and those same neighborhoods tell a completely different story. Homes that would have vanished from the market in days are now sitting for 45, 60, sometimes even 90 plus days without a single offer. Just last month, I toured a property that had been listed for 105 days with 2 price reductions already. According to the listing agent, who was fairly new, her seller kept asking, "Why isn't it selling? We're priced the same as our neighbor across the street from last spring." The agent was nice, don't get me wrong here, but it was clear she didn't fully understand the current market, and it was costing her seller money. The market has shifted. Interest rates have more than doubled since the pandemic boom, transforming buyer psychology from the ground up. When rates were at historic lows, buyers could afford to overlook flaws. That outdated kitchen or awkward floor plan didn't matter as much when the monthly payment was manageable. Today's buyers are paying significantly more per month for the same loan amount, making them dramatically more selective about what they'll consider. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. I recently met with a seller who didn't want to do any prep work and insisted on listing the home 5% above the highest sale in the neighborhood, which had been fully updated and staged. I just couldn't take that listing. They ended up going with another agent. And yes, I felt the pinch. I'm human and selling homes is my bread and butter. But holding that standard is exactly what's made me very successful. I don't take listings just to take them. Well, let me tell you, that home sat on the market for 85 days and eventually sold for $15,000 less than the price that I originally recommended. Today's buyers aren't just pickier, they're operating from an entirely different emotional place. The fear of missing out that drove the pandemic frenzy has been replaced by something stronger, the fear of overpaying. With more inventory and less competition, buyers now have the luxury of time. They're touring more homes, asking tougher questions, and negotiating harder on every aspect of the deal. What are you guys seeing in your market? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear if you're noticing the same buyer behavior in your area. I'm seeing the same 3 critical mistakes in nearly every stalled listing I encounter. These aren't complicated issues, but they require sellers to shift away from the hot market mentality and align with what buyers expect today. The good news is that homes are absolutely still selling, often quickly and for great prices, but when sellers avoid these pitfalls. The first critical mistake comes down to a single number that can determine your home's entire sales journey. When sellers base their pricing on emotional factors rather than market realities, they create an invisible barrier between their home and qualified buyers. I'm seeing this play out daily with sellers who refuse to believe today's market values simply because they don't align with what they expected or hoped for. This is the death spiral of overpricing. Minimal showings lead to no offers, which force price reductions. By then, your property appears stale and buyers wonder what's wrong with the property. This ultimately attracts lowball offers from buyers who sense desperation. The problem starts when sellers rely on emotionally biased sources. I've had clients show me Zillow's estimates that were off by $30,000 or mention what a friend of a friend sold their home for, without considering the differences in timing, location, or condition. Professional agents, on the other hand, rely on hard data, recent comparable sales, current absorption rates, and price trends specific to your neighborhood and property type. Here's what's fascinating. Properly priced homes are still attracting multiple offers, even in today's market. I just listed a property last week at $500,000 based on strategic pricing and current comps. We received 5 offers and are now pending at $525,000. By pricing at that sweet spot, where buyers' perception of value meets actual market data, we created competition instead of skepticism. This kind of strategy matters, especially because most buyers set their online search parameters in $25,000 or $50,000 increments. If your home is worth $495,000, but you list it at $525,000, buyers searching up to $500,000 won't even see it. And those who do see it at $525,000 will be comparing it to homes that are truly worth that price, and yours may fall short. Instead of relying on outdated information or wishful thinking, focus on these data points. Comparable sales from the past 60 days, not even 6 months ago. Price per square foot in your specific neighborhood, not citywide averages. And the critical trend line showing the gap between list prices and final sale prices. This gap tells you exactly how much negotiation room today's buyers expect. Remember, pricing isn't about what you want or need. It's about what the market will bear. When you align with market reality from day one, you minimize time on market and maximize your final sales price. The right price gets buyers in the door, but what they see when they arrive determines whether they'll make an offer on your property. In today's market, properly prepared homes are often selling for 4 to 6% more than comparable properties where sellers cut corners. And that's often with less than $5,000 spent on targeted improvements. Today's buyers have changed their expectations dramatically. They're scrolling through beautifully staged properties on Instagram and watching home renovation shows that set an extremely high bar. When they walk into your home, they're comparing it to those polished, camera-ready spaces, not what was acceptable even last year. I recently worked with sellers who took my advice seriously. We invested about $3,800 in smart targeted updates, painting dark kitchen cabinets white, swapping outdated light fixtures, upgrading hardware, and bringing in a professional stager. Their home sold in just 11 days for $12,000 over asking. Meanwhile, an identical floor plan down the street listed as is sat for 62 days and sold for $22,000 less. This is what smart preparation looks like today. Fresh neutral paint, updated lighting, a deep clean, and strategic staging. These focused, relatively low-cost upgrades create an emotional connection with buyers, and that translates directly into stronger offers. The psychology behind this is fascinating. When buyers see things like scuffed walls, outdated fixtures, or cluttered spaces, they don't just see minor flaws. They feel like the home has been neglected. Suddenly, a simple paint job turns into "this house needs work." Each little issue creates a sense of overwhelm and leads to mental deductions from what they're willing to offer, even if the fixes are quick and inexpensive. Professional photography magnifies these differences. Properly prepared homes showcase beautifully online, driving more showings from qualified buyers. The unprepared homes quickly appear dark, dated, and smaller by comparison, often getting skipped entirely during online searches. If you want the highest return on investment, focus on the areas that matter most to buyers. First impressions, think front door and the entryway. Kitchens, fresh cabinet paint, updated hardware, maybe a new backsplash or countertops. In the bathrooms, recaulk, replace outdated lighting, and swap out old fixtures. And overall presentation, declutter ruthlessly, clean like a pro, and maximize natural light. These targeted improvements consistently deliver a 150 to 300% return on investment at closing. Even more compelling is what happens when sellers skip this work. Research from the National Association of Realtors show unprepared homes typically sell for 5 to 8% less than properly prepared comparable properties. On a $500,000 home, that's $25,000 to $40,000 left on the table, not including carrying costs due to the extended marketing period. Let me tell you something that might surprise you in today's challenging market: choosing the wrong agent, someone inexperienced, or simply offering a discount to win your business. This can end up costing you far more than what you ever saved in commission. I'm seeing this play out again and again in 2025. Sellers choosing representation based on wrong criteria and leaving serious money on the table. The truth is, when homes were flying off the shelf in minutes, almost any agent could place a yard sign in your house and collect a commission. But in today's selective buyer's market, the difference between mediocre and exceptional representation is magnified dramatically. What's really costing sellers in 2025 isn't the commission, it's inadequate representation. Top performing agents aren't just posting your home on the MLS and hoping for the best. They're implementing sophisticated digital marketing campaigns, targeting specific buyer demographics, leveraging professional photography that makes your home stand out among dozens of competing properties against your listing. And most importantly, negotiating with a skill set that routinely secures 3 to 5% higher final sales prices. Many sellers are still selecting agents who promise the highest list price. Remember, an inexperienced agent might tell you what you want to hear about your home's value just to secure your listing. Meanwhile, skilled professionals present pricing based on concrete market analysis, even when those numbers might initially disappoint you. When interviewing potential agents, look beyond the basic sales statistics. Ask pointed questions like, what specific marketing plan would you implement for my property type? How do you plan to find qualified buyers in this interest rate environment? And can you show me examples of recent negotiations where you secured above market value? For those considering the for sale by owner route, it's crucial to understand the potential financial implications. According to the National Association of Realtors in 2024 data, for sale by owner homes sold for a median price of $380,000, while agent-assisted homes sold for a median of $435,000, a difference of $55,000. This means for sale by owner properties sold for approximately 12.6% less than those sold with professional representation. Beyond the price disparity, FSBO sellers often face heightened legal risks, limited marketing reach, and significant negotiation disadvantages when dealing with buyer agents who negotiate professionally every day. The right agent doesn't just manage the transaction, they orchestrate the entire selling process. They'll guide your pre-listing improvements for maximum ROI, connect you with trusted contractors who won't overcharge, position your home perfectly in the market based on sophisticated data analysis, and leverage their professional network to generate interest before your home even hits the market. In 2025 selective market, your choice of agent has become the single most influential factor in your selling success. While homes routinely sold themselves during the pandemic boom, today's market requires skilled navigation through complex waters. The difference between the right and wrong representation now frequently translates to tens of thousands in your final sales price and potentially months of additional carrying costs. So let's bring it all together. After analyzing hundreds of listings in 2025's market, I can tell you definitely that emotional pricing hurts sellers the most. Why? Because buyers can't fall in love with a home they never see. When your listing doesn't appear in their search results, you've lost them before you've even started. But here's the good news. Success in today's market is absolutely achievable. The formula is straightforward. Price according to current market, not yesterday's market. Invest strategically in preparation and partner with an agent who understands today's buyer psychology. Thanks for sticking around until the end. I'm Lily Vallario, an award-winning real estate agent in Maryland. If you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or relocating to Maryland, I'd love to help. My contact information is in the description box below. And if you're not in Maryland, no worries. I can personally connect you with a top agent I trust in your area. Just fill out the quick form below and we'll take it from there. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.